We're reading this morning from the book of John, chapter 1. If you'd like to follow along in the little blue book on your seats and turn to the page headed John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and through the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth.
Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to our final service before Christmas. And welcome to our church family gathering. Welcome if you're here regularly, well known and know what's going on. Welcome if you're just popping in, just visiting for this morning. Oops, I'll try and get very carefully organised, but sometimes blue tack is stronger than you think. There we are. My name is Dominic, Dom. And we're just going to look again through that bit of the Bible that Sylvia read for us just now. Thank you very much. Just the first page of the blue booklets written by a man called John many years ago. In fact, that's what we usually do when we meet as a church family here. We meet, we sing a bit, we pray a bit, we chat to each other, we eat and drink the refreshments afterwards. And that's exactly what we're doing, same as normal this morning. There are some differences. So this morning there are mince pies. And we don't normally have a tree inside the building, but you're familiar with that idea. You have that at home as well, I guess, and other decorations. So some things are a bit different, but basically we're doing what we usually do. And at Christmas specifically, we look at, we concentrate on particular part of the Christian story, the story of Christmas and the ancient prophecies, the announcement and birth of Jesus, angels terrifying shepherds, all sorts of things going on. This year, we're not so much looking at those famous parts of the story, but the first page of the Gospel, the book that John wrote, which looks at a bigger picture. And we're going to look at the middle part this morning of that first page. We'll get to it. But basically, like any other time, as a church family, we're meeting, doing usual things with a bit of a Christmas flavour to them. And there are plenty of other things that we do as Christmas as we meet as a church family, but as families. I was with my family, my brother and sister, and their families last night. And some of the things that we do, you can see pictured here. So we wear silly hats. Yeah, we were doing that last night. We exchange presents. So this shirt is a Christmas present. We eat different food, a little more than usual, and we play silly games. There's one going on there. We did all of that last night. They're not necessarily what Christmas is all about, but in a way they are. That's some of the things that we do at Christmas, good and fun things we do at Christmas. A couple of more things I want to mention that we often do at Christmas, just to help us think about what Jesus does at Christmas. First is we go visiting, sometimes quite a long way away, sometimes very close to where we are. And the other side of that, we welcome visitors coming to us. So we meet as families, but not everybody is part of a family. We welcome other families, we welcome other people who might be on their own, who aren't part of a family themselves. So we visit and we welcome visitors. That's part of what goes on at Christmas. And those two things, visiting and welcoming a visitor, are going to help us think about Jesus and what he has come to do at Christmas. And the first thing I want to think about is why Jesus came. Jesus came into the world to show us who God is. Christmas tells us about a visitor. So if you're following on in his booklets, in the middle of the page, number 10 there, it says, he was in the world, and the world was made through him. Two statements about Jesus. So he was not from the world. He made the world. He can't be from the world, but he came into the world. God made the world, but he came into the world. Just think about that for a moment. We try to understand it in terms of people visiting. At Christmas, we go visiting, and we go visiting. So who has family or friends in Leyton that they go and visit? A few people. Some people are quite antisocial here, you stay by themselves, even in Leyton, but there we are, yeah. Some people further away in London, a few people, or out in Essex, or further afield in this same country, or perhaps elsewhere on this map that comes up. I know we've got some visitors from Canada this morning, and I know a number of us have visitors in the blue area, the green area, the yellow area, the orange area, maybe even anyone from the purple area, South America, who have friends or family. No, I wasn't sure about that, or Australia. I'm not talking about Australia at the moment. Anyone from further away than that? If you see the next slide. Anyone have they visitors from Mars or Moon or different galaxy? No, we don't generally have visitors as far away as that. But Christmas tells us about a visitor who came from even further away than the furthest, most distant galaxy in the world. He was in the world, it says, came to the world, but the world was made through him. So he's from even beyond, however we think of the world, this planet, the universe, everything we think of in the world. Trees, grass, angels, planets, slugs and snails, puppy dog's tails, whatever we think of. We might think of the world as everything we can see enclosed in a little ball like this. I hope I don't set off any. So a little ball like this. It's just, we can think of it as the ball that, like the whole universe. Everything, if you imagine the whole universe contained in this little clear ball. And Jesus is a visitor even from outside that, because he is the one who made all of that. All the greatness we can see, if we imagine in that little bauble. If we look up at one of the pictures we saw there before, I made this picture. You may not believe me, but I did, with the help of artificial intelligence. I'll want Philip to be assured that that's the only help of artificial intelligence in this sermon this morning. But I made that picture. I made another picture many years ago. I drew a picture of a dinosaur when I was about your age probably, Eliza, about five or so. That was my picture, and it was so good that the teacher stuck it upside down on the wall. But it was my picture. I couldn't get into the picture. I can't get into that picture, even though I made instructions about it. I'm different from it, but God, through Jesus, came into the world. So suddenly there he is. Oh, his manger's fallen over. But there he is. It's suddenly inside the world that he came from outside, because he made it. So Jesus came into the world. He grew inside Mary. He was born as a baby. He came into history at a particular time. You might say he came into geography as well at a particular place. He came into biology as a real human being, all sorts of other school subjects as well. But he came into the reality that we know, even though he made all of that. So Jesus is the most distant visitor that we have at Christmas. Perhaps you have a friend or a cousin visiting at Christmas or any other time. You don't really know what they're like. You don't know what they like. Are they going to be selfish or friendly? Are they going to be smashed down that Lego that you spent hours building? Are they going to break all your toys? Are they going to be kind and friendly? We don't know what are they going to like the food that you've prepared for them? Or the walks and expeditions and holiday plans you have made for what you're going to do over Christmas. We don't really know until they arrive, if they're people coming from far away that we don't know so well. You know, the distant cousins you didn't know you had, but your mother keeps telling you that you're related in this way, but I can't remember how, and I've struggled to remember their name. But you don't really know what they like or what are they going to fit into the way we do Christmas. And Jesus is an even more distant visitor. He's the visitor we just don't know at all. Maybe you've come this morning thinking, well, I don't really know God. I don't really know who he is, what he is. I've never seen him. I don't know how to get to know him, how to reach and find him. Well, John agrees with you. He says, actually just over the page, number 18, he says, no one has ever seen God. It takes Jesus to make him known. He showed us who God is, what he is like. Not how tall he is, the color of his hair and his eyes, but all those things we were talking about before. What he's like, what his character is, what he likes and what he doesn't like. We can't presume to know him, but he has showed us. So and I think it'd be a great idea if you do pick up these and whether you know Jesus well or just asking or don't know, you might decide, well, there are 21 little sections in this. You might decide just for January, I'm just going to read one little, they're just over a page, each of them a day, and think about them. And you'll find there Jesus walking around with his friends, talking. You'll find not what he looked like, but what he is like, what he said, the love he showed, what he liked and disliked, how loving he is, how powerful he is to what he wants to do, to feed, to heal people, to forgive them, to raise people even from the dead. His power, his love, his compassion, what he likes, what he doesn't like, how fierce he can be sometimes about the things he doesn't like, what he doesn't like, hypocrisy, organized religion misused for power, the Pharisees, you know about the Pharisees, that comes out. Lies, he talks about in John's Gospel particularly. And you can find out what he is like, and therefore what God is like, expressed as a human being, as a baby, a little boy, a man, in language we can speak, we can understand. That is, Jesus came into the world from outside to show us who God is. So much for God visiting. And we'll move on to the second idea of not visiting, but the welcome. Jesus, and the heading here is, Jesus gave us the right to join God's family. It doesn't seem to tie up immediately, but we'll see how that does. Why do we need to be given that right? Some people may say, why do I need to be part of God's family? I can get on perfectly well without him. Or maybe asking that question. Do carry on asking that question. Those cards that Philip with chances to ask the question, do make use of those if you've got that kind of question in your mind. Hopefully we'll have a partial answer this morning, but there'll be lots more to think about. This is a very short little sermon, or time to consider it. Others might say, well, aren't we all members of God's family? He made us all. We're all part of the great big human family because he made us. Well, that seems plausible, but there are surprises here too. And staying by the number 10 there, we find something else in verse 10 there. He was in the world. Though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. Though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. Oh, what's that noise? Sorry. Sophie, could you just see who that is? And if you don't recognize them, just tell them to we're a bit busy at the moment. So the world
who I am.
Is there a problem over here?
I don't know who this is.
Okay, well, I did ask Sophie if she doesn't recognise who this is, just to tell her, because we're a bit busy here, you can see. We've got something important going on. So you don't know who he is?
No, I
okay,
don't.
off you go, I'm afraid, please. That's... Thank you very much for yeah. That's what you get for overacting. You get But actually, if you can give him a round of applause as he comes back in, because then he'll be reassured that everything's okay. Really, he'll be coming. Are you ready? He's just coming back. Yeah. You're welcome, really. But that was a bit strange, wasn't it? It would be a bit strange if that had been, it would have been really hurtful. And you could see that on his face. He acted it so brilliantly. It was really hurtful if Sophie had really meant, look, I don't know who you are, because that's, if you don't, you may not know, that's Sophie, Gerard is Sophie's father. So it's very strange for her to say, I don't recognise you, I don't know who you are. But the world did not recognize, the world that God had made when he came into the world did not recognise him. He came to that which was his own in number 11. But his own did not receive him. Sophie is Gerard's own daughter, but she did not receive him. She sent him away. That's how strange it is, hurtful and upsetting, when the world said to Jesus, we don't know you, go away. The world he'd made did not recognize him. His own people of Israel, he prepared for him, and their leaders did not receive him. His own family. If you do read on in John's Gospel day by day, you'll find, you can look out for it, the moment when his brothers, we're told his brothers didn't really believe in him. Isn't that completely upside down? Remember my picture, the picture the teacher stuck upside down on the wall. I'm not bitter about it, but I do still remember it. I was really quite a quiet, unassuming child. You may not believe that. I didn't like to make a fuss, but I insisted that this picture was put the right way up. That was my picture. I was the artist. I had artistic rights. Don't laugh. But you may laugh. But that's what we've done to God. We've turned things upside down, the world upside down, by not receiving, not welcoming him, by saying, you are not, I don't want to be part of you are not part of my family. As Sophie did to Gerard. It's a serious matter. That is why the world is upside down. We've said to God, no, we don't want you to be in charge. We can manage. We want to be in charge. And instead of peace and joy, there's hatred and war, oppression, force. You can think of all the examples there are. Things aren't what they should be, because each of us has said to God, no, I want to be in charge. I don't want you to be in charge. I don't want to be part of your family. And he's left us to it. And what someone has to do, what he does, you can imagine he would do, is to leave us to it, to cut us off. And we can't put it right, this world that's upside down. Can you imagine my dinosaur picture trying to turn itself the right way up? Can't do it. Somebody else had to come in and do it. In that case, I delegated the teacher to that task. But I would have been prepared to do it myself if she hadn't. We end up, each of us, wanting to try and put the world right. And I have an idea about it, and you have an idea about it, and somebody else has an idea about it. We all end up fighting about that, about how we should put it right and we should be in charge. And we end up running further away from God's family love. And that's why verses 12 and 13 are so important. So I'm going to put them back up on the screen there. Up on the screen, because we haven't been up before, but here we are. But so his own did not receive him. But to those who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of a human decision, nor of a husband's will, but born of God. Now, not everybody is a parent, but let me see. Can you put your hands up if you are now, or you have ever been, a child? Quite a few hands are not going up. Now, either I haven't made myself clear, or I've got a big mistake, or Biology teaching in this country is worse than I thought. But I'll just write that, make a note of that. Okay. Everybody has been a child. And we come into our families as children by being born, natural descent, or by a human decision, by being adopted perhaps, or husband's will. It being the fathers, the husbands in those days would have made those arrangements about adopting children. Once we are a child in even a human family, a fallible human family, our parents can let us down, but once we are in a family, nobody can chuck us out. We have a right to be part of that family. No one can get rid of us, however we've entered that family. What right do we have to be in God's family? We've declared ourselves independent. How can we have any rights? By rights, he will judge us and leave us to that decision. We did not welcome him or receive him. Sophie and Gerard. They get on very well, by the way, I think, as far as I know. But Jesus says, he gives another. The whole world did not welcome or receive him. That's what we read, wasn't it? The world did not receive him, did not recognize him. But there is another chance. Even to all of us who did not receive him, to those who we can come back and receive him, those who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, who believed who he has followed him, he gave the right to become children of God, and that is how we can have hope. We'll explore that more in that idea of hope more in some extra services we have in January. If you're thinking about how can I have hope in this world, part of the answer really fundamentally comes here. His forgiveness is so powerful that it gives us not just a privilege that he can take away, but a right, not just a human right with fallible humans holding on to it, but a right given by God, which nobody can take away, to thrive in a real family, whatever our home family situation is, whether we're cast adrift from our family and lonely now, to be in his family. A family expressed here as we meet on a Sunday, but his family all around the world, with him as the Father. A right given by God that nobody can take away, to be loved forever. So if you live in a world which doesn't have hope, if you still have questions, keep asking them. But if the time is right, if you realize you've been living in a world without God in it, you've failed to receive him or recognize him, and he drifted away. You did once. He drifted away. Then think about this again. He gives the right, in believing in him, to become children of God, to receive him, to believe in him. Not because he needs followers, but because he has come, the authoritative maker of the world, into the world. And though we didn't welcome him, he has given us another chance to be welcomed into his family. Come before him and do have a word afterwards if that's something you're thinking about. To those who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, born not of natural descent or of a human decision or a husband's will, but born of God.